pisses me off. Not because I'm soft. I'm not soft. But if you want to wrestle, let's wrestle. If you have a problem with me, let's settle it. If you can't beat me on the mat, try to beat me in the parking lot. But if you can't beat me on the mat, I doubt you can do much to me in the parking lot.
The previous administration took all the guys. Wink, wink.
I just want some ice cream, man. I just want some ice cream.
Welcome back to the Shots Fired podcast, folks. This is episode 12. As always, I am Reiter and Schares alongside Mack Reiter. And Mack, we have a snake in the house. We have our first 2-star review.
Oh, no.
So, yep. We're about to launch a full-scale investigation. So, someone among us gave us a 2-star review, and I just don't understand how you could possibly not love this podcast.
I could see where the 2-star review comes from.
Isn't a 2-star, isn't that the weirdest review?
Yeah, give me a 1-star if you're going to trash me.
Yeah. I mean, 1 is these guys are garbage, I'm never listening again. But 2 is I don't like them, but I might come back.
How many, would you give Skip Bayless a 2-star review? Stephen A? One of those guys?
No. I don't know. I'd maybe go middle of the road just because it's just funny listening to how ridiculous they are sometimes.
Okay.
It gets a little annoying, but it's fun laughing at them.
Man,
other than that,
I didn't know we got a 2-star review. That sucks.
Yeah, I think it happened before our last podcast, so I don't know what the deal was there.
But we took the week off. They penalized us.
Maybe that was what it was.
That's what it was for sure. I don't blame them then.
We deserve it, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay, well, this is going to be 2 weeks in a row, so we need many more 5-star reviews, folks. Okay. Actually had a little bit of wrestling go on again. We got a little bit to preview here, but again, first thing we go to is another golf event we're going to talk about.
Yep.
You golfed in is it the Dan Gable?
Yep, the Dan Gable Celebrity Golf Tournament.
Yep.
I don't know why, but Kyle Klingman asked me to come down and play as a celebrity in the tournament. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's obviously coincides with the Dan Gable Hall of Fame each year. There was a couple inductees. John Bowlesby got in this year. Chris Bono got in this year. Kevin Dresser got in. So some big names getting into the Hall of Fame this year. And then they, invite everybody out to a round of golf in Waverly there beforehand. And they do foursomes, and then they pair every foursome gets random drawn into, or maybe not random drawn, or gets assigned a celebrity to play with them. So I got stuck with some Gilbertville guys. Not stuck with, I guess it was a good time. I think we ended up 4th place, I'm pretty sure. We shot 12 under, so played pretty good. But it was interesting because we were supposed to start at 9:30, and we went out there. We got started right at 9:30, and they called everybody in at about 9:50 for a rain delay.
Oh, God.
And so there's 130 people in the clubhouse for an hour to an hour and a half, just with nothing to do because it's raining out, so people are just crushing beers. It was I text Gary, I was like, it's getting a little rowdy here in the clubhouse at about 10:30. But it was pretty funny. So I'm just kind of being the typical social butterfly I am. I'm bobbing and weaving, talking to as many people as I could. And there's me, I'm a wrestling dork. 100% I'm a wrestling dork. I idolize a lot of these people. So Jeff McGinnis is there, and I got to talk to him beforehand, and Jesse Whitmer and Ironside, Metcalf.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Randy Lewis is running around being squirrely. Pete Bush is there. I mean, it's everybody that's, the biggest names. They had a couple NFL guys. Tim DeWhite was there. So it's a really cool event, but I'm in that little hour and a half break we had for the rain delay. I look over and I see Daryl Weber's talking to Dan Gable. And I was like, oh man, I'm going over to join that conversation. So I got my 2 Bush Lights and double fist and Bush Lights. It's 10:30 or so. I walk over and I jump in the conversation and I'm talking to him, which also they introduced Daryl Weber. So they did all the introductions for the celebrities, and man, they took a good shot at me on Daryl's because they did mine first because they did it alphabetical, And then when they were introducing Daryl, they emphasized they're like, he is the only Division I national champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco. And I was like, oh man. And Randy Lewis is laughing and he's yelling out, he's Mr. Don Bosco. And it sucked. But anyway, so that's a tangent there. But I go over and I'm talking to Gable and Daryl, and somehow we got on the subject, and I tell Gable I was like, I actually have a Big Ten record. And he says, oh yeah, what's that? And I said, I'm the only person in the history of the Big Ten to win the tournament as a freshman, get second as a sophomore, get third as a junior, and get fourth as a senior. And I kind of laugh about it. And he just straight face looks at me. He's like, you should have went the other way. I was like, well, yeah, I know, but I didn't. I mean, it was very funny because I was like laughing about it. He's like, well, I guess at least you can laugh about it. And I was like, yeah, what else am I going to do? It was 10 years ago. I can't change it.
His brain was probably short-circuiting.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
He did not understand my cavalier attitude towards the whole thing. But then we get to talking too about, because they were talking about how Daryl, he cut quite a bit of weight to drop down to 42 that year, so they could fit Lincoln into the lineup. And Daryl was like, yeah, Mack, you cut quite a bit of weight too. And I said, yeah, my senior year, I'd stepped on the scale in August and I weighed 174 before my senior year. And again, Gable looked at me and he was just like, what? He's like, how did you let that happen? I was like, well, I was having a good summer. I was having a lot of fun. And he was just so taken aback by the fact that I would let myself get 41 pounds overweight. But yeah, I think it's funny because every time I see him, he's always like, if I was still a coach, you would never have gone to Minnesota. You'd have gone to Iowa. And I don't know. That probably is true, but that didn't happen. So, but it's funny because he's just like, if I could have gotten your head, I think I could have coached you and we'd have got you straightened out. It's like, maybe, but you aren't a coach anymore and I'm not wrestling anymore. So it doesn't really matter.
I feel like you probably called the Brands brothers after that conversation and been like, guys, dodged a bullet on that one right there.
Sure, he might have won a couple of matches for us, but I think that guy might have been more of a headache than he was worth. Yeah, it was just, I got such a kick out of it because I was double fisting Busch Lights at 10:30 in the morning, laughing and having a good time, and he just was very confused as to how I could think it was funny that I got one place worse every year at the Big Ten tournament.
Oh man. Did the podcast come up at all?
It did not. It did not. And I screwed up too because Kyle Klingman and Andy Hamilton, we were coming around the turn and I ran inside to get a couple more beers and they asked me to jump on there. They do On the Mat, right?
Yep.
So they asked me to jump on there for like 5 minutes. It ended up being about 10 minutes. So I was trying to find a way to work it into their interview with me, but I never found a way. I screwed up. I should have just said, I respectfully ask, or will not answer that question. And I'm going to tell you about a podcast I do. But anyway, yeah. So I did 10 minutes on the Mat this week. If you guys need some other stuff to listen to, I've never gotten to talk to Andy Hamilton before. Obviously, I've seen him at every single wrestling tournament I've pretty much ever been to. I always got the feeling that he doesn't necessarily like me, and maybe that's just because I think that most Iowa people don't really care for me. But it was kind of good to talk to him a little bit, as short as it was. And Kyle Klingman, the event he put on was pretty. He does, organizes all that, and I'm sure is quite the headache trying to get commitments from 36 air quote celebrities to come down and play golf on a Friday in Waverly. So pretty cool thing.
Waverly, Iowa isn't exactly an easy place to get to if you're flying or anything. So yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I had then on hole 1 we started on 5, so we got around to hole 1 and my boss Big John Bowlesby, him and Gable come riding around in a cart, and they got Rick Coleman's with them, and they come up, and then so Big John starts heckling me because we're about to hit our tee shots, and most of my group, we didn't have really a great one out there yet. So he's heckling me and I'm the last one to hit. I told my group I hit last every time because if there's pressure, I want it. And so I tee it up and I absolutely smashed one of my best drives of the day. And Gable's like, where'd it go? I mean, he couldn't see it. And Rick Coleman, I think, might have been videotaping it. So I don't know if it ever showed up on KWWL, but it was a good moment for me to shut up my boss.
Right back in the spotlight. Maybe a little different than when you were wrestling, for in the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament, but nonetheless, still a huge spotlight in Waterloo, Iowa on KWWL, I suppose. Yeah. All right. You have anything more on that?
No, it was, like I said, it was a really cool event. I don't know. It seemed like they do fill up that year every year, but if you guys ever get a chance, it's around this time every year, early June, and it's the Dan Gable Wrestling Hall of Fame golf outing. If you're a wrestling fan or you're an Iowa wrestling fan, all your old idols are there. I mean, they do a good job of filling up the celebrities, and you get a good chance of playing with somebody like that as opposed to somebody like me. Mike Allen was there. I got to talk to Mike for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
What color outfit was he wearing?
Green.
Was it colorful?
Yeah, it was very green.
All right. Not a suit or anything?
Not a suit, no.
Blue suit?
No. I actually, he was pretty casual, which is fine, but it was like, it wasn't what I expected. I thought he was going to be like really dressed up, I mean, Phil Mickelson's wearing like a button down to the Masters now. I thought for sure that opens the door to Mike Allen going full suit out on the course.
I think Allen's a pretty big golfer in Waterloo. I think he golfs quite often.
Every time I play a Waterloo course, I see him. It never fails. And he'll come like running from 3 fairways over just to say hi. Like, it's awesome. I'd love to actually play around with him one time. I think it'd be a blast.
Oh yeah, good guy. All right, sounds like it was a great outing. Yeah, all those names you listed there sounds even more than I thought. So, pretty cool event, sounds like.
It is.
All right, on to Final X. We got one in. We got another one coming up this weekend. Overall, I don't know. You thought I was pretty impressed. There were no third round of matches, so it was a little shorter than it maybe can be coming up here. But there was, I would say almost something intriguing in literally every matchup here. And like we said, maybe we weren't quite as into the women's matches, but even me, I was entertained by some of them. But even though there were really no upsets in the men's, there were still a lot of surprises, like we said. So, how do you want to get into this?
Let's just start with the lightweights. I think we said before we came on, and we were both wrong on the fixed Gilman match. I picked Dayton in 3. I said one of them would be a tech. I was way off on that. Thomas just said that he had an awesome game plan ready to go. He shut a very offensive wrestler down. Dayton didn't have much of an answer. The one time when he did get on the top, the first match, he tried going right to his leg in trap gut. And Thomas just, Gilman locking his hands, holding them out in front there, neutralized it pretty good. And that was the one area where I was like, man, if he gets on top, he could end this thing in a hurry. But that was the only chance he ever had.
Hand up with me. I was wrong, like you said, on this. I saw a couple Iowa related people that got all kind of pissy about, everyone said Fix was going to win. Gilman got it done. It's like, yeah, he did, but there's no way anyone could have predicted it was going to look like that.
No.
And I know I didn't see anyone saying that. So I saw Flo interviewed Gable yesterday when they're at his house, and Gable said something along the lines of, Thomas Gilman has world-class defense if he can just get his offense going. And does that sound weird to you saying that? I guess that's not how I would classify Thomas Gilman, but I don't know.
I could see. He's hard to score on, man. He hand fights. He holds position so well. He's a lot like Dennis. He's a lot like Ramos. They build lightweight wrestlers that never get out of position. And when you're never out of position, you are very hard to take down. I mean, Spencer Lee, how many takedowns did he give up this year? Couple?
Yeah. I don't know the number, but it wasn't very many.
It wasn't very many. So, I mean, when you hold position, you hand fight that well, you make yourself very hard to take down. And then, I mean, defense becomes pretty easy if the guy never gets a clean shot on your legs. And, and I think that it looked to me in the second match that Fix was kind of like, I don't want to get in there and hand fight with him because I can't get to his legs there. So he kept trying to shoot from way out in space, and there were these long doubles that had no chance of ever being successful.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a whole lot more to add there on that. I did not see it happening like that. So, and I was very impressed with Gilman's. I think he improved from the World Cup. I mean, Fix he's one of the top wrestlers in the world. Maybe not like top couple, but he's up there. He's proven he's up there. So
he's a top 15 wrestler in the world, I think. Top 20, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, maybe Gilman's got more in the tank or more room for improvement here. So it'll be fun to see what he can do at Worlds this year, I guess.
Yeah. Get that good draw again.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. On to 70 kilograms. James Green, Jason Chamberlain. What did you think about this one?
I made my stance known on Twitter. I was very disappointed in this match, and I get it. James Green said that's what happens when guys train together for a couple of years and then they're forced to wrestle. But I mean, there was so little that went on offensively on both sides that it was a letdown. I think both of them had more, especially I think James Green had more potential. Chamberlain seemed to kind of just wait and think like, I'm going to get the last takedown and win it at the end. It didn't look like he wanted to get into a shootout match. He was content to just kind of hand fight, control center, maybe get a shot clock violation point or two. James Green then decided, okay, I can do that too, because I can fight you off at the end. And both times, I think, especially in the first one, Chamberlain was close at the end, and he just didn't have enough time. And I was hoping that would maybe ignite him a little bit in the second one. Like, I can't wait that long anymore, and I can't lose this match, so I've got to get it done. But it didn't, and it just more of the same.
I thought it was a very smart match by Chamberlain. And then, Green, I thought he was kind of playing with fire there, letting the match kind of come to him. Because if you're Chamberlain, you don't want to wrestle a 6-minute match. You want to wrestle a 30-second match, a minute match. And that's exactly what he did, and Green kind of let it happen. So it's like I hear a lot on the radio with your Cavs and the Warriors. There's no way the Cavs can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, but you turn it into a 1-game, teams are tied 2-2, they're tied 3-3, turn to a 1-game series, then it's a little different. Just shrinking the match I thought was very smart by Chamberlain, and it almost paid off for him at the end of that first match, but couldn't quite get it done. But I think the better wrestler won.
Yeah,
but I gotta give props to Chamberlain. I didn't think he would be anywhere near that, and here he was, one exchange away from, he didn't win either match, but one exchange away from winning both of them, basically. So,
does that concern you for James Green going into Worlds?
Not really. I think he's proven himself enough now that you can't really doubt him anymore. You just don't know. Like you said, he's wrestled the guy probably 1,000 times.
Right.
So it's tough to take too much from a close match there, I guess. But the better guy won. So.
Yeah, I think most of the country is probably happy that James Green's our representative. And I'm in that camp too. I'm glad that he is, because I think he gives our best shot at a medal at that weight and another team title. So I want him on the team, but it just, I don't know. Everybody always talks about how we coach to score points, put on a show, all entertainment. And everybody always says these things when it's easy to say it on social media and like, hey, I'm going to go out and put on a show, and then at the end of the day, they didn't.
Yeah. No, I thought, yeah, it was kind of a boring match, but I thought it was tactical and smart, and I kind of like watching some of the low scoring ones too. I know a lot of people don't, but
I feel like that's kind of the way a lot of James Green's matches have gotten. Beat the Streets was the same way, and I don't know. Maybe I've seen a couple recently, and it's an anomaly, but it just seems like that's the trend lately.
Yeah, but I mean, really, the only time you see him is when he's wrestling at the elite
The best
competition
in the world,
too.
yeah,
So
that's true.
it's not like
He's not entering an open tournament in November of the college season.
Yes, for sure. Okay, on to 74 kilograms. Jordan Burroughs takes out your boy in 2 straight.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Match 1 went the way I thought they both would go. I think I said Burroughs would win both, but I thought they'd be 4 or 5 point wins. I think it ended up being a 3-point win in that first one. That was just kind of the way I thought Imar would be able to neutralize his speed a little bit more with his underhooks, offense, and stuff. Match 2, the whole thing changed on that leg lace, and it looked like he had it defended, and then Burroughs just found a way to score, and then went right away again, and now all of a sudden, instead of it being 2-0 coming to your feet, you're down 6-0, and 6-0 against Jordan Burroughs is just you don't come back from that.
To me, this series kind of went how, in your football games where you have your first 10 plays or whatever scripted, and the underdog's moving along just fine. You're like, oh, they're doing great. Then all of a sudden they run out of their scripted plays, and then you really see which team's better. And I think that was kind of what this was, where right away you're like, maybe Imar has a little for him, and then you get to that second match, and you're like, yeah, Burroughs is still the greatest.
Yeah. Imar's got a ways to go, for sure. And I think at this point, the focus is 2020, because I think he's far enough behind now where he's just, keep getting better. Next year, obviously, you're going to try to make the team, but realistically, the focus right now, I think, should be on 2020.
Burroughs is so cut. I don't even understand how it's possible to have, negative body fat.
Yeah.
I think that every time I see him, though, he looks like he has less body fat, or he's more cut. I don't get it.
Yeah, he's an impressive specimen. I suppose I would imagine that's a 24-hour-a-day lifestyle choice to be that dedicated to your craft, and that's probably the reason why he's a 5-time World Olympic champ or whatever it is.
They had to have kids to do that, man. That is nuts. But
it must be so exhausting day in, day out. But I suppose when you get into a rhythm, you just kind of, I got to get my training in. I got to eat right. I've got to monitor everything I put into my body, and then I got to take care of my family. And you just get to form habits, I suppose.
Yep. I just saw one note here that I wrote down for the Gilman fixed match, so I want to go back quick. Did you see, before the match, what Fix would do when he went out?
The forward roll and jump?
Yeah. If I did that, I would be dizzy for an hour. I'd have to call injury time before the match started.
I feel like if you did that, you would do your forward roll, and then you'd go do the high jump, but you would keep your momentum going accidentally, and you would just, nosedive into the mat coming back around.
I don't know what it is. I talk with another guy every time I help out at PUE practice. I don't do it every time. I do it once a year because I forget. I'll do the rolls with the kids.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to sit there for a minute and be like, I don't know if I need to go to the hospital or what. I don't know what is messed up with my internal gyroscope or what, but I don't know if that's a thing with older. I'm not really that old, but older people or what, but.
Well, he's doing one somersault. You shouldn't get that disoriented in one somersault.
I don't know what it is. I never used to be that way then. My mid-20s and on now, it ain't good. It's not right. Maybe I should get that checked out or something.
I would guess that that's the effects of alcohol, but.
Yeah, probably. Okay,
I like it though. It's kind of, it's Fix's thing, I always had a thing, for me, I take my thumbs and put them inside my singlet straps, and I'd pull them up and down a couple times. That was my pre-match thing. You know, I'm a thing guy. You figure out, and then the more elaborate it is, the better, man. Let's get creative with this stuff.
Yeah, it was. I always think Gilman's is funny where he does that little skip thing.
Yeah.
It's weird to me, but I guess it's working for him, so.
Probably not changing now.
All right. Weird sidetrack I got us on there. But anyways, on to the last men's match of the night. 97 kilograms. Kyle Snyder takes out Kyvan Gatson in 2 straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was right on this, right? Because I said both ways I had it. So I could be right no matter what happened.
Yeah, you were right then.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, no text, but he won by 9 points and by 8 points. So, pretty dominant. I think it went exactly like most of us thought it would. I was very impressed with Kyvan at the start of that second one when he blast doubled him off the stage. But you knew, unless he tore his ACL or broke a leg on the way down and landed off the stage, it probably wasn't going to go well the next 5 minutes, 55 seconds. So.
Yeah, Kyle Snyder, he's been spiked twice now in, a month's time?
Yeah.
That was pretty hard. Okay. First of all, how was that not 4 on that move? Did you see?
Did he ever expose?
He did.
Okay.
It was, because I saw, it was hard to tell on the angle, but then they showed one angle somewhere where, it was plain as day. He was 5 steps out when he did it, but to me, I thought continuation was a thing, but I don't know, maybe it's not anymore.
It is. They'll let you keep going a little bit to work for it.
To me, it was no doubt. That was a textbook continuation for there, but I don't know.
It wouldn't be the first time that they got a call wrong in freestyle. But, I mean, maybe the refs were just so entertained by the fact that Kyle Snyder just got double-legged off the stage that they weren't looking for the exposure. They were just 2 points. Yeah, 2 points. Sounds good.
It wouldn't ended up mattering, but when it happened, I was like, that is absolutely 4. Oh, well. What did you think of, what's the deal with Snyder wearing the Iron Man singlet? What's this rebranding he's doing all of a sudden here?
Well,
he's supposed to be Captain America.
Yeah, Flo was pumping all those guys as different superheroes leading up to it. So I don't know if that's where it kind of came off of. It's if anybody's Iron Man, it's Adam Cooney. He's doing both styles. That's going Iron Man. Kyle Snyder's Captain America. But
yeah, I don't like that. That was weird to me. But
it felt to me some 8th grade kid at a freestyle tournament in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, in April. He bought some terrible singlet from the merchandise stand and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wear this one." Rudis, come on, that was your first chance to show off your new line, and you went with an Iron Man theme.
Damn. Captain America one. Why not?
You could do a lot of other things that not superhero related that would have been better than that singlet. So I don't know when he competes next, but I hope it's a different look than that from Rudis.
Well, he'll probably have to have your standard USA one now. Or he'll probably wrestle somewhere else between now and then.
I know.
I was thinking that the other day. You just have your Final X going on right now, and you get all excited for Worlds, and it's 5 months away still.
Yeah, don't get excited for Worlds. We're going to be into the college season before we get Worlds.
It just hit me the other day. It's oh, darn it, that's a long ways away still.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some Grand Prix tournaments they'll go to and other things that they'll get some tournaments overseas. But I do like that we're getting our world teams taken care of. It's finalized and set. That way, those guys can do some camps. They can do some different things together to increase our chances of success over there.
And it works out pretty well with the college season too. So there's really not much going on, but.
Right. Especially if, we have a chance. We got a couple of guys still with college eligibility with a chance to make a team. So, between McKenna and Zahid, if one of those two makes the team, then it'll be interesting to see how they handle the college season. I would imagine, with Worlds being in October, they'd take then maybe a month off or so, come back after Christmas.
Because now that's not even unheard of. That's just like your standard thing. Like, oh, you wrestled Worlds, you just take a month or two off. And
right. We'll see.
Worry about it later.
Because, let's say you make the team. Like now, okay, you make the team. Oh, we're going right to training camps to start getting you ready. I know Worlds ain't for 5 months, but we want you at the best possible position to succeed. So you're going to need to be in Colorado Springs. You're going to need to be at regional training center camps. And so now you're just super focused all the way through October. You're just going to need some downtime before you all of a sudden are thrown into another D1 season, which, the D1 season is even more of a grind because you're competing every single weekend. You're making weight every single weekend. And it's just week in, week out, you just have to be up. Where at least this one, we'll train for 2-3 tournaments between now and Worlds, and then obviously the Worlds. So over the next 5 months, maybe you compete 3 times. So it's just all about preparation so that you're perfect for those 3 times you compete. But I would think if either one of those guys makes the team, man, they're going to need some downtime afterwards.
Yeah, I think Bill Zadek and USA Wrestling, those guys have it all figured out. Now, one thing they didn't have figured out is his suit choice that he had for Final X. That looked like that might have been a little old, that suit he was wearing. That button was put in work.
Yeah, you texted me that. He definitely was not. It didn't get that one from a tailor, that's for sure.
He figured it out later. Then he didn't have it buttoned anymore. Either that or it popped off.
Yeah, as an expert big guy, never button the suit. Never. There's no good look that can come from a buttoned suit. You leave it unbuttoned, you look casual, but people are like, oh, I'm sure it fits.
Casual but professional still.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
One other
tip
thing
there.
on Final X. Maybe I'm the only one. Did you have any troubles with the feed?
I know your brother was texting me. He was having issues. I early on, it kind of kept stopping on me every minute, like before they started.
Okay.
But once they started, I don't think I had any issues other than maybe 1 or 2. And with my computer, there's no necessarily blaming other, the website and whatnot, because it's more than likely my computer. But I didn't have much of a trouble. Did you?
I did early on. It kept freezing up on me a little bit, and I had to refresh. And one time it kicked me out completely and said the feed is temporarily down. And I know it wasn't anybody else signing into my username or anything like that. It was just me, but I was having trouble with it, and that was on my laptop. Well, then we switched to Carrie had downloaded the app on our TV, on our smart TV, and we watched it through the app on the TV, and it worked a lot better from there. But I was just annoyed because I was like, oh, great, more of this, feeds down again. It sucks that we've become so conditioned to buffering and feeds not working and dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm. I heard Float killed it on sells and buys this weekend, so the fact that they had that much traffic and it wasn't too bad for me, I guess you had a different experience. I was pretty impressed, So
I'm thinking more about this in the last week, and this Final X deal with the 3 weekends has to be 100% Flo's idea, because I can't see a benefit in it from USA Wrestling standpoint. You're not going to, even if you take all 3 of your gates, I would guess looking at that arena there was maybe 3,000 there, 4,000.
I saw the number. Somebody tweeted it out, and it was under 3,000. I thought it was 2,000 and some change.
Yeah. So let's say you get that for 3 events. You fall just under 9,000 total. That's not anything great as far as that goes, but I would bet the numbers on viewership is way up there. So now when they do it 3 times and they put it in places where realistically, unless you're from Pennsylvania or Ohio, you're probably only going to one of them at most. So, more people are going to watch. Well, they can sell more ads because you got to tune in 3 different times. And, they can drive up viewership that way as opposed to just all being in one event. So.
And at the same time, too, like somebody like me, it really, whether it's 2 or 3, it really doesn't matter. It's just, I guess, finding the time to watch one more event on a weekend. But
right.
you're already buying your subscription, so you're not paying any more.
Right.
So I don't really mind. people are complaining. It's like, dude, you buy it for the month, and it doesn't matter. You got it. Why does it matter?
Right, but I think it's just, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
The summers are busy for people,
sure.
and it just, to me, it feels like a money grab from Flo's standpoint. Like, we're going to make a couple extra bucks off these people because they're going to watch, and we can just drag it out into more events.
For sure it is. And it kind of gets me mad when people whine about it like that. It's like, dude, that's what business is, like trying to find a way to make as much money as possible. Now, I mean, you don't want to totally inconvenience your customers to do it, but if you can find that happy medium.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be interested to see, I talked to a lot of people, down there this weekend about it, and everybody was, I like the people that I think I took the most away from were like, let's wait and see. After all the numbers come in, we can look at it and we can reevaluate it. Like judging it ahead of time isn't doing anybody any good. You can't really have an opinion on it until after it's all over. So, maybe it'll be nice that each weekend we get a chance to watch wrestling as opposed to just having it one night and then all of a sudden it's over. Now, Saturday night we got wrestling's on again. Next weekend we got wrestling's on again. It's just maybe that you kind of got to look at it from that standpoint as opposed to, well, this is inconvenient for me because I have to watch 3 weekends in a row now. Why don't we look at it as we get to watch 3 weekends in a row? We get wrestling Saturday night, 3 straight weekends in June.
For sure. I got one more thing on that, then I'll shut up. I saw like a pretty good Iowa high school wrestler had a comment on it and a bunch of people liked it, retweeted it, but he said, I thought 2017 World Team Trials was way better than Final X. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, but you've only seen a third of Final X. Like,
right.
Of course, the entire 2017 World Team Trials was better than one Final X. So that's all I had. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And that kind of goes along the line of, Gable said it, and I think Jason Bryant said it as well. Like, let's wait till it's all over before we judge it. And I think that's a smart way to look at it. Obviously, initially everybody's like, "This sucks. I don't want to do it 3 weekends in a row." But I'm gonna be Mr. Positive here, and I'm gonna say we get to do it 3 weekends in a row.
For sure, and I'll be Mr. Positive for once too, and go along with you. All right, you had the 3 women's matches. We were probably gonna go too in depth on them, but to me, that Becca Leathers and Jakara Winchester match, that was one of the most entertaining of the night. Those 2 matches they wrestled. Allie Reagan beating Jenna Burker. Reagan's a stud. She's going to be a threat to definitely be a very high medal finisher. And then you had Tamara Stock just taking it 2 Randy belts in 2 matches, and it wasn't even close there. So I was entertained by it. Like we said before, we're not real big into the women's wrestling, but it was nice that it went every other, where it wasn't like you had to watch a whole women's tournament if you weren't into it. It was, I can watch one match here. This is kind of entertaining. So I think they had a good model going for that.
Yeah, I liked it too, the every other. That way I can, you're still wrestling on, but I can maybe tweet out some fire takes from the last match while that's going on, and then get myself ready for the next men's one, but still also, wrestling's still going on. I feel like some of our best one-liners maybe came from some of the women's matches too. So, yeah, I mean, it was good. And, do we wish that Greco was in there and it was going 3 weights of Greco too during it? Or does that just kind of confuse it because the rules are so different?
I was kind of thinking of that, but the cadence of it was perfect to me. It was just the perfect length of time. It took 2 hours to watch those 2 rounds, I think, maybe even a little bit more, maybe 3 hours. If once you're getting up into 4 hours, to me, that's a little too long.
Right.
So it was just about perfect, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to do all the weights in one place at one time, that's like, you're looking at probably 6 hours straight of wrestling.
And even I'd get bored that long. I just couldn't do it.
I get bored or I'd get drunk. And then I'm going to have to rewatch the matches the next day and figure out what happened the second round.
For podcasting purposes, yep.
Yes, yeah, content.
All right. We put a ball on that one. Final X Lincoln.
Yep.
In the books. Okay. Got another Final X this weekend in State College. You have 3 men's freestyle weights and 3 women's freestyle. Run through them real quick. 65 kilograms, Joey McKenna against Logan Stever. 79, Kyle Dake versus Zahid Valencia. 86, David Taylor, Nick Reenan. And then the women's matches, 62 is Kayla Miracle versus Mallory Velty. 72 is Aaron, why do I do this to myself? I've never said these women's names until right now. Claudio against your Iowa girl, Rachel Waters. And 76, Adeline Gray against something Bullock, Karina. Is that how you say that?
Oh.
Kendra, Karina. It gotta be Karina. Corinne. I don't know. Anyways.
The K name.
Anyways, probably won't go too in depth in the women's matches like last time. What are your thoughts on the men's matches here?
I think you gotta, Stever's probably the favorite just because it's a different situation because McKenna came over after 2 years at Stanford, but we talk about a lot of times in folk style the big brother syndrome, and is that possible that it's here? But a lot of times that develops that first year in college where you're not at that level you ultimately become at, and you get beat up by the older guy who's got a little more experience, whereas McKenna gets over to Ohio State after already being through 2 years of Division I wrestling. So I think probably that's not as big of a deal here. McKenna's a savvy freestyler, and man, Stever just gives up some dumb points sometimes. So I could see him getting him. It's just hard to believe it's possible. I could see him getting one match though, for sure. I have no reason to think why McKenna couldn't win one match. But I gotta say Stever's gonna win this one. All close matches. Probably gonna be high scoring. I think each guy in each match is gonna score more points than Green and Chamberlain scored in both matches combined.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be a good guess.
I think that's a lot of points.
I think it's close enough where, you can't definitively put $1 million on one guy or the other guy, but to me it's Logan Stever. He didn't have a great world tournament last year, but look who he lost to. He lost to Rashidov, I think he got second last year. And then he lost to somebody really good too in the wrestlebacks, but he beat Haji Aliyev at the World Cup, and that guy just went out and won Euros shortly after that. So, Stever is.
He has the ability to beat anybody in the world.
What's that?
He has the ability to beat anybody in the world, but there's probably not going to be a single guy in that world bracket that couldn't beat him. So it's just one day it all goes right, and then there's going to be days where he's only one and done and on his way home.
I think people were expecting. The guy's a world champ, so everyone was expecting world champ last year too. But
right.
Man, Rashidov is way good from Russia, and it's you get in the repechage, and I don't know, anything can happen. So
I'll take Stever in 3.
Stever in 3. I'm going to go Stever in 2.
I want to see 3 one of these guys.
One of them. Yeah, what would have happened if Burroughs would have lost to Imar?
Well, they'd have to do, how much time do they need? 30 minutes?
Is that what it is? Man, that'd have been stupid.
Yeah, you just have to sit around for 30 minutes with nothing going on, and then they'd wrestle. I think it's 30 minutes.
Well, they had those two kids come out and do a dance-off you saw before it went to a commercial the one time. And then it felt like it came back like 5 minutes later and they're still doing a dance-off. It was like, oh my God, get these kids off stage.
They're working out hard.
I guess. All right. 79. Kyle Dake, Zahid Valencia. What do you got?
This is probably the one I'm most excited about for sure. I want to see the guy that put a beating on Derringer at the trial finals, if that guy is legit, and you go common opponent, and Valencia looks like the favorite. He's had freestyle success before. It's not like he's never wrestled freestyle. To me, he's going to be the bigger guy than out of the two of them.
Doesn't he seem so much bigger?
He seems like he's at least a weight class bigger.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's got that length. The only thing is, Dake is so creative in the ways he can score that I definitely think he's going to get a 4-pointer at some point, because I think that Valencia is going to do something to get himself just a little bit out of position, and you just can't do that against Kyle Dake. I want this one to go 3 as well. I'm going to go Dake in 3.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be real entertaining if it went 3, obviously. I've had the take for a while now that Dake just won't be touched, but now I'm second-guessing myself with how Valencia looked. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to go off on this. I think it's Dake. And again, I'm less confident in this one than I am in Stever and McKenna, but it's going to be real fun. Like you said, this is going to be probably the best series there is.
Yeah, of all the Final X, this is the best one.
I agree. All right. Last men's freestyle match, David Taylor in his home gym against Nick Reenan.
Yeah. David Taylor at home is as big of a lock as there's going to be.
Sure.
Nick Reenan's young, and maybe there's some time for him down the road, but I don't see this one even being close. And I don't see him. I don't think Nick Reenan thinks this can be close. And I think it's attacked both times.
Yeah, nothing more to add there. I think it's a blowout. One thing I did see, I think Flo tweeted out, or Nomad tweeted out, that this Final X has 8 wrestlers out of the 12 that have not made a senior world team. So it's very different than the last one where you have, almost every guy. Yeah. So it'll be very different from that aspect, I guess, where, 79 or 86, someone's making their first world team there, senior world team, and then even 65, like we said, McKenna Stever's a toss-up, so if McKenna wins, he made his first world team.
3 first-time world team members.
And then on the women's side, too, you had, I think, Miracle, Claudio, and Gray have all made the world team, but the ones they're wrestling haven't, so...
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And you got 2 guys that have grinded it for a while. Dake and Taylor have certainly put in some time on the senior circuit, so you kind of want to see them make one. They've definitely earned the opportunity, and they've, it's like they, outside of getting a chance to wrestle in the World Championships, they both beat some of the best guys in the world. So, Taylor's got the win over Yazdani, like, the 2-time defending or world and Olympic champ. You want to see David Taylor have a chance to finally win a world title. And I think both those guys, you put them in that world bracket, and I don't think we doubt that they could win it.
I guess real quick, who would you have between Stever, Dake, and Taylor? Who would you have most likely to win it?
Taylor.
And would you go Dake over Stever?
Yeah. Yeah.
The one guy who has the world title is last.
Yes. In my opinion, the least likely to win another world title.
Over the 2 guys who have never made a world team.
That is an interesting way to look at it, but
It is.
would you argue?
No, I wouldn't. It's just funny that that's how it is.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean,
Maybe
it's got
we just have too high. I mean, well, I guess that doesn't even apply either because Stieber won 4 national NCAA titles. I was like, maybe I just think of their folk style success and that puts them higher in my personal opinion. But Stieber had more success than any of them. He had at least less losses probably than Dake.
The only reason I wouldn't pick Dake to win it is just because the Russian Gaji Magomedov. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have anything really on the women's. Just Rachel Waters. She's the Iowa girl there. She's got a shot to make the team. So.
Does she train out of Iowa City or is she just from there?
I don't really know. I'd be guessing. So, I don't know where she's going to college.
Let's go with it. Let's just say she trains out of Iowa City.
I know she doesn't train out of Iowa City.
Is
the other IAwrestle guys would know more than me on her. So.
Okay. Is Allie the only one that trains out of Iowa City?
Lauren Lovey does too.
Okay.
I think, and that's the only 2 women. So, yeah, there you go. All right. I don't know. Don't really have much more on that. How far are we along here?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. We have anything else to talk about though?
You mentioned a little bit about Iowa decide they're going to seed the high school state tournament. I think it's, the criteria I'd have to look more at. You sent them to me, so I'll look into it, but I imagine it's got to be pretty similar to what Minnesota has.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of clear up what I've been saying on it. I'm not totally against it. I was nervous on trusting the Iowa High School Athletic Association to do it. The same guys that said, hey, some of these guys are wrestling the 6 toughest matches of their career in 3 days. How about we put state duels the day before that and make it so they have to wrestle 9 matches? So I just question, their way of thinking sometimes. But it looked like it was pretty good how it was wrote out. I still don't like that there is winning percentage in there. I just don't think there's any need to have winning percentage. If you're getting down to that, just randomly draw it. I don't care that some guy from BFE Iowa is 30-1 and didn't wrestle anyone. So
if you're already going to include head-to-head and common opponent in the criteria, then there is no reason to have winning percentage. You're just you're giving points that should not be earned. You already have that accounted for if you're giving points for, nod to head-to-head wins or common opponent wins. So I think it's nice that, look, we've got clear, concise rules. This is what it's going to get seeded by. Ahead of time, this is what it's going to get seeded by. There should be no questions, and there shouldn't be any arguments.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good thing. We'll just see how it goes, I guess. All right. I should make you end one of these. See how you do.
Me do what?
You put the finishing touches on one of these, and you just sit back and do nothing.
No. I'm the talent, man. You're the brain behind the operation.
I'm lacking in the talent department, I suppose. So.
Well, you got me in brains.
Yeah, I'm one hell of a podcast runner guy.
Host. The word you're looking for is host.
No, podcast runner guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you're, rating us, subscribing, all that stuff. I don't know why we say subscribe and whatnot, because obviously if you're hearing us, you already are listening and subscribing. But we didn't get any reviews or any ratings this last week, so you guys need to pick that up so we can kind of drown out that 2-star. So, get on top of that, guys. Again, every Monday we're doing them, release them every Tuesday. Oh, we didn't give a shout out to Elite Sports again that did our logo.
Yeah. Use them.
They do a lot. They do all kinds of T-shirts and all kinds. I saw they had even like the banner flags for some school that Patty Rhodes had up. So Elite Sports. They do some great graphics. Tell them we send you guys their way. Maybe they'll give you a discount or something. We'll see.
Bart has to get his name engraved on the Ryder Cup Championship trophy. Do you think they'd do that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure they would.
I gotta have him spell it wrong.
Brat Ryder.
Brat Ryder.
Yeah, Brat Ryder. That would be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, man?
No, let's wrap her up. We'll try to be active on Twitter here coming up to Final X on Saturday. We'll do your best. I'll be tweeting live from LaPorte City, Iowa for Festival of Trails.
That's this weekend?
Yeah, man, LaPorte City days. Carrie's got her 15-year class reunion, so we're going back to, I gotta go hang out with the Knights.
Okay. All right. That'll be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll be in town. We got a big baseball game in Mason City on Saturday. I might be back later, but okay. Nobody needed to know about that. Nobody cared about that. That's when you end the podcast. Okay. All right, guys. Well, this was episode 12 of Shots Fired. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.